Hello and welcome to YHELPtalks with Taylor. Today we are with Ms. Deidre Boykin, a licensed clinical social worker who will be talking to us about self-esteem. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, as you stated, I am a licensed clinical social worker in Maryland and Virginia. I have an MSW in social work from Howard University, and I currently work with a nonprofit working with young adults called YHELP, where I'm the regional director of enrollment.
Why is self-esteem important?
Well, self-esteem is important simply because it's about yourself, right? And so the way you feel about yourself governs how you interact with the world, how you interact at school, work, with your parents. And so it's important because it is, in a lot of cases, the driving force behind why you make the decisions and choices that you make.
Has there ever been a time where your self-esteem was low?
Yeah, I think in my teen years, I was raised in a very strict home. And so the things that my peers were able to do and places they were to go and the way they were able to dress, I wasn't, because I was raised like super religious. And so it started to make me think that, like, you know, when you get to that age where you want a boyfriend and all that cool stuff, that I wouldn't be able to be that way, or I wouldn't be able to do the things my peers were doing. And then I started to think less of myself because I was different.
What did you do to overcome it?
Honestly, I think around 11th grade, I grew into my body. So that was helpful. And people started saying, oh, you know, you're cute. That was one thing. But my grandmother was always very big on reminding me that it was important that I believe what God said about me. And I know that sounds super hokey, but she would always say to me that, you know, he thinks the best of me. And so she thinks the best of me, and I need to think the best of myself.
Why do you think people suffer from low self-esteem?
Because, again, to the point that my grandmother made, we don't think enough of ourselves. So if something goes wrong, if we don't get a good grade, if we lose a job, whatever someone might have said when those bad things were happening, we internalize it and then we start to believe it. And it speaks to kind of like self-talk. So we are always our own worst critic. And so even when you do something and you're like, and someone says, oh, that's great. And then you're like, oh, it's nothing. We won't even like hype up ourselves. And so that's where it comes from. And so you have to be very careful about how you speak to yourself.
What can someone do to boost their self-esteem? And could you give some examples?
Well, the first thing I think is positive self-talk. I know that I can do this. I'm good at this. I am important. I am valuable. So it's what you pour into yourself. So the books you read, the shows you watch, the company you keep, that's a big way to help boost your self-esteem.
Does surrounding yourself with positive people help your self-esteem?
Absolutely. I always tell people my husband is my biggest fan. So if I decide tomorrow that I'm going to drag race, but in a golf cart, he's going to be like, you can do it, babe. You can do it. And so sometimes when you don't have it to believe in yourself, the people around you are your circle, are the ones who help you. And I have my sister circle who are also very great at hyping each other up and reaffirming each other. And I've been in positions in my life where it wasn't like that. And so I had to make a choice to surround myself with positivity rather than negativity.
What's the difference between high self-esteem and being conceited?
It's a fine line. It's a really, really fine line. So again, if you are speaking the truth about yourself, people can misconstrue it as being conceited, but it's about delivery. I always tell my students, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you came to me and said, can you do such and such? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely able to do that. I'm very good at it. That doesn't offend you at all. You're like, oh, okay, you seem like you're an authority. But if I say, oh yes, there's nobody better than me. In fact, let me list all my accomplishments and let me tell you all the people I know and name drop. And then that's off-putting. And it's the same kind of root, but it's the way I deliver it. And so I think when people are labeled as conceited or arrogant, it's because of the way they deliver how they feel about themselves.
How can you stand up to someone who's trying to lower your self-esteem?
I don't want to be around people who aren't positive. I don't think that that's the truth about me, and I don't think it's healthy for me to be around people who keep saying things about me that aren't accurate. There's a saying that friendships are a reason, season, lifetime. And so sometimes as you grow, your season with that friendship is over. And in some instances, it's jealousy. In some instances, it's insecurity on the other person's part. But again, the root of self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, and you have to protect your peace at all costs.
Well, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for letting us interview you.
Thank you for having me.
And is there any last words you'd like to say to our audience?
I think the last thing I would say specifically on the topic of self-esteem is you want to surround yourself, I want to reiterate that, with positive influences, whether it's who you follow on Instagram or TikTok, or the books you're reading, the shows you're watching, the company you're keeping. You set the stage of how you feel about yourself.
Well, see you all next time. Bye.
Hey, don't click out the video yet. Did you like, comment, and subscribe? And also, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YHELPnow. And don't forget to check out my blogs at YHELPnow.com. See you later. Bye.